A year ago today, I got cheated on by my girlfriend. She left me for a coworker. She discarded me. And we were living together at the time. We were living for about 2 years. And I found out all about it. It was February 25th, 2025. I was doing Amazon Flex with her car, and she said she was going to go hang out with a coworker. A gay coworker, keep in mind. And we're going to call him Angel. She was going to go hang out with Angel. Nothing odd. I've been with her for 2 years. I trusted her. Go ahead. I trust you fully. She went out about 10 o'clock at night. I stayed up and I waited until I had to do my shift for Amazon Flex, a side gig I was doing at the time where you deliver packages with your own car. I stayed up until 3 o'clock in the morning when my route was scheduled and took my girlfriend's car and went over to the warehouse and got my route. My girlfriend still hasn't returned home, but she did say she would text me when she gets home. I found it a little odd. She never really goes out that late, especially on a weekday when she has work the next day. But it doesn't matter. Again, we were together for 2 years. I trusted her. I did my route, and it sent me in the middle of nowhere, Scapos, Oregon. It sent me through these hills that I had no reception in. It was foggy, and I just remember being very scared. It was dark, no reception, just me alone with these packages. Since I had no reception, I couldn't get my girlfriend's messages anymore. It wasn't until about 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning when I finally finished my route that I started heading home that I finally started getting reception, and I got her message. It was sent at 4 o'clock in the morning. It read, "Just got home." Smiley face. My stomach started to turn. It felt weird, a weird gut feeling, and I didn't know how to react. But I waited till I got home. When I finally got home, my girlfriend was sleeping in the bedroom, passed out. But I had this very big gut feeling. So I did what any normal person would do. I went through her phone. I just had to clear this gut feeling. I told myself if I could just go through her phone, see real quick, maybe I'll clear all of this up. I went on her phone and I went to her messages, and lo and behold, it's that Angel, the gay coworker name. Cool. You know what? We'll leave it at that. Nothing too suspicious here. Let me go in bed and pass out. We passed out, fell asleep. The next morning, we did our normal routine, had breakfast, talked, went about our day. Later that afternoon, she then got ready for work, and we gave each other our final kiss. I asked her if she wanted me to drop her off. She said no. I said, all fine by me. I'll be working on marketing for my business on your computer. This is important. She says, okay. She leaves, and I pull out her MacBook, and I start working on my website and advertising for my business. At this time, right now, last year, I finished doing the marketing that I needed to do. And I still had this gut feeling. So I said, you know what? I'm going to clear it up one more time. Just one last time. What I knew is that the MacBook of hers and her phone were synced. So messages that she would send would sync between one another. So I said, you know what? Once I'm done doing my marketing, I will go on the messages one final time. And if there's nothing, I'll leave it be. I'll talk to her about it. We'll probably see what's going on. When I finish everything, I go on the messages on her MacBook. Remember that gay coworker named Angel? It wasn't Angel. Instead, it was a whole different name. For the sake of the story, we're going to call him Carmen. The name was Carmen. And then I started to read the messages. And my whole world stopped. At this time right now, I read those messages. I remember looking at the computer and infuriated. I didn't know what to do. I looked up and I looked to my right, and there was a bookshelf that we would have. And on that bookshelf that was dangling was a picture, a collage that she made for me, filled with pictures of us and our cats that we had and everything. I looked at that for a good minute, and I just felt anger. I felt betrayed. 2.5 years together down the drain just like that. And keep in mind, for Valentine's Day that year, I got her 2 tickets to Disneyland. I remember just yelling in a fit of rage and just freaking out. I said, what the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck just happened? You could not have done this to me. You shouldn't have done this to me. Why did this happen? I remember the cats were in the living room. They started scattering, running around. They went under the bed. in the bedroom. And me freaking out, I couldn't do it. I didn't know what to do. I started pacing back and forth. I started just crying. I go into the bedroom and there was gifts that she'd given me before. It was a whole gift basket, a basket that she personally decorated for me. And I just remember taking everything out and just screaming and yelling, "Why the fuck did you do this to me? I can't believe it. I don't want this. Why did you do this to me?" I remember just ripping off my clothes from the hangers one by one, saying, "I need to leave. I need to get out of here. I need to get out of here." But then something came over me and said, "No, because here's the thing, you leave now, she's going to bring that guy over. She's going to bring Carmen over and they're going to fuck on that bed." So I said no. I remember calling my friends, asking them for their opinion, and they all just said, calm down, but I couldn't. I do remember one thing. They all just told me, whatever you do tonight, just don't do anything stupid and crazy. I promised them that I wouldn't. But I kept pacing back and forth on what I would do. How would I confront my girlfriend now? How would I tell her that what she did was just awful? She destroyed it all. Everything that we've built together, gone. She didn't come home until 11 o'clock at night when she finally got off. She texted me saying, "Hey, do you want me to grab some food?" In the moment, I said no. But then my mind started to turn and said, "No, say yes. Say yes. Go get food with her because it'll be the only moment where you can actually confront her without having the neighbors being involved, without them hearing what's going on. So you can just be finally airing it out. So you can just finally air it out. Your frustrations and everything you found out." So I switched my mind and I said, "Never mind. Yes, let's go get some food. Let me drive. Let's go." She said, What's with the sudden change? You just said no, no." I just said no. Let's just go." She said, "Okay, I'll be heading home soon." She gets home and I get in the car with her. I drive and we drive to McDonald's. She's sitting passenger side and she's just saying, "Are you okay?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm fine." I asked her about her day, but really in my mind it was just blank. It felt like as if I just wasn't there anymore. She would just keep talking about her day. And I played oblivious into it. We went to McDonald's and we picked up our food. And when we picked up our food, I gave it to her and I said, "You should start eating now." She said, "Why?" And I said, "Just start eating now. I'll go find a place where we can park. Just start eating." One of the main reasons I said that was because I knew that if I once started to speak, she was going to stop. We went up this hill where there was no cars, and I pulled over to the side and she asked, "Where are we?" I remember just looking at the dashboard and looking at the time. It's now 1 o'clock in the morning, February 27th. I get in my head and I say, "It's now or never." So I let out a big breath and I say, "You're a fucking liar."